So I'm having a Sunday morning walk just to come and have a look at the sheep and see how lambing's going. These are the realities of arable farming mixed with sheep, and you can see in a very wet spring the ground doesn't look fantastic, but there's very little forage. But these Romneys just seem to be doing fine. You can see this is a field of singles. And even though it doesn't look sort of very appetizing, you know, as I say, they're doing well and keep on lambing. So I'm just going to have a quick walk around and see how everything else is doing, and hopefully give you a little bit of a update. Just stopping here for a moment, slight diversion from sheep, but this is one of the ditches that are in our sort of program to dig out. We go around the farm. When we have our lays around the farm, we go around and do the ditching at that time, mould drain the fields and make sure everything's in order. But this ditch probably hasn't been dug for a number of years and definitely needs doing now. It's holding water and it's not able to get away. The first field I showed you was a field that we sowed grass and clover in bare soil, and these ones here that we're going to now are ones that we undersowed, and they just establish a lot better being undersowed with a nurse crop, and it's just the way that we found it best to establish our lays here. But this field really sort of poached up, and we took the sheep off it a couple of weeks ago, and even though the weather's been cold, it's greening up quite nicely, so quite happy with that. This is a field of ewes with multiples in, either 3 or 4 lambs, and yeah, they've been pretty good. We've had to bring 1 or 2 in and had to match up the triplet with a ewe that's just had a single, but that's been going very well. But this is an example of our very simple system. It's looking really muddy, obviously, because of the wet spring that we've had, but basically it's mobile water bowsers. These ones, because they're multiples, are getting a supplementary feeder, some oats that are straight out of our grain store, just to keep them going, give them a bit of extra boost. But they're just doing amazingly well, I have to say, and they look great on pretty minimal grazing. But that's what the New Zealand Romney is good at, and I think they look great, apart from the lamb being a bit soggy. Just as a contrast to the other ditch I showed you, this is a ditch that we dug about 3 years ago. You can probably hear and see a drain running there, which is pretty amazing to be running in April, but there it is. We always put these marker posts where our drains come out, so when we trim the ditches, the guy on the ditch trimmer or hedge cutter knows where the pipes are, so he doesn't just flail off the end of the pipe. So we just put in a wooden stake and then cut off a bit of white tube and just put it on the top with a self-tapping screw. So the white just highlights it, and the wood stakes just make it look a little bit more natural rather than just a plastic tube. But anyway, ditch is working, taking water away from the fields in this wet time. Just sort of observation, I'm not a sheep farmer, as anybody who watches my channel knows. We've only had sheep relatively recently, but the udders on that ewe is just phenomenal. Yeah, I don't know if she's having triplets or quads, but there's going to be plenty of milk there. 2 lambs there, yeah, pretty fresh, probably born first thing this morning or early hours of this morning. Another couple in the background there. You can see what kind of a murky day it is. Looking back up here towards Alpheaton Wood, which is 11 hectare wood. It's a triple SI, ancient woodland, and that's where we get our wood chip from. Manage it in a traditional way. Looking pretty murky on this Sunday morning. So this is a field of twins. It's a field right to the east of the farm called Stony Land, and you can see we don't have lots of stones on the farm, but this has got a lot of flint. I say a lot, it's a few flints in there, and actually the Romneys do pick up those flints in their feet occasionally when it gets muddy, but you'll see one that goes lame, and then, you know, the next day it's fine because it's shifted the flint. So it hasn't been a massive problem. I also sort of worried about our heavy clay soils, having the sheep on the soils in the winter would be a problem, but this field is one that was undersown last year in spring barley, and there's a lot of clover in there, and you just literally need, you know, a few days of sunshine and this will be galloping away. It's all there. It's just it just hasn't had the chance because it's been cold and wet. But again, you know, all these Romneys seem to be doing incredibly well on it. They're getting no supplementary feed at the moment, and they're lambing well, and it seems to be going well. But as you can see, that's a sort of a bit of a close-up of what it really looks like at the moment, which isn't that encouraging. But again, you know, there's lots of clover there, a bit of sunshine, and it'll be away. So this year we're just management tagging all our ewes that are having twins. We're just trying to make sure that we keep the correct genetics in the flock to make sure that we've got the ewes that we want to suit this lowland grazing system. And one of the difficulties in the past was actually matching up the ewe numbers with the lambs, because we were spraying the numbers on the ewes, and by the time we came to lambing, all the numbers are washed off, so we couldn't actually replicate the number on the lambs. But you probably can't see in this video, but we put these large tags in the ears of the ewes that have come from twins and are having twins, and you can see them, you know, with a pair of binoculars, meaning that you can catch the lambs up, put the right number on them, and record them. And also we're recording how the mothers behave, you know, whether they are protective over their lambs, producing milk, and you know, generally good mothers. So it's a new system we're trying this year to really try and hone that information. So this year all our lambing fields are next to the village of Shimpling, and we put up a new notice every week to let everyone know how it's going and what we're doing, but also the kind of system we're trying to adopt here. And this sign was done by my 14-year-old daughter, and I think it probably explains pretty well what we're trying to do and how people should behave around the lambing ewes. So I hope you've enjoyed my Sunday morning walk, just looking around the sheep and thinking a little bit about ditches, bizarrely. I could have waited till it was a sunnier day when the grass looked greener and it looked sort of slightly more palatable. But, you know, the thing is, doing these videos, you just got to do it when the mood takes you, and that's what took me this morning. And, you know, I think it is what it is. It doesn't look very pretty this morning, but maybe I'll do another one when the sun's shining. Anyway, thank you for watching.